All right, well, welcome everybody. This is DNA's Lunch and Learn on Wednesday, June 13th, 2018. And today we're going to be talking about Tairox CRM for Sage 300. It's a relatively new integrated module for Sage 300 that allows you to track more information and manage customers and prospects inside Sage 300 as opposed to the full-blown Sage CRM, and has some great features. And today we'll be going over some of those features and talking about what's coming new in the product just released. And so I hope everybody can see our screens. I've put everybody on mute because we are recording this. And if you have any questions, please submit them in the chat window and we'll be answering them in the end. So without further ado, I am going to just get started here. So for those who may not know us, we have a lot of new customers in the Quebec region. DNA Business Management Solutions has been supporting Sage customers for almost 25 years. Starting in September, it'll be our 25th year. We've got about 450 customers. We support everything from Sage 300 accounting, CRM, Sage HR, payroll, the full gamut of Sage products, as well as a large list of best-of-breed integrated products, including the products from Tairox, which we're presenting today. And there's a whole range of add-on solutions that help build out your Sage core modules to give people those benefits. So DNA is familiar. We recommend many of these core modules. We work with them every day. Most of our clients have one or many of these modules, and we'll be your go-to support for all these products. And then we go back to the experts if we need your help. But one key differentiator you'll get working with DNA is that we always answer the phone when you call. If we don't have somebody available, one of our other 15 staff members will be there. We'll get them online with you to address any concerns, help with any changes, do any updates, and of course, work with our third-party product vendors. So today's presenter or product is, as I mentioned, from Tairox out of Vancouver, and it's the Tairox CRM for Sage 300. Tairox has a whole host of solutions, but the CRM product specifically manages more contacts for your customers and vendors, allows you to do enhanced things like manage sales and marketing, do email marketing, and a whole host more that I won't go into here and steal the show from our guest, who is Nancy Lavery from Robert Lavery and Associates. Robert Lavery and Associates is a group of professionals out of the Toronto area who supports and markets many of the key third-party development and integrated products that we provide with, as I said, most of our customer installs. Nancy is an expert in several of those products, including the Tairox CRM. So we'll let Nancy go through the scope of the product and show us a live demo. So as I mentioned, I'm recording this and we'll be sharing it with it after. Please submit your questions in the chat window. We'll address it with Nancy at the end. And should take, I think, about half an hour, would you say, Nancy, to go through it, or
Yeah.
a little longer?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
About a half an hour.
Yeah, okay. So without further ado, I'm going to make you the presenter, Nancy.
Great. Thanks, Will.
There you go. I see your screen.
Okay, perfect. Thanks very much, Will. And thanks everyone for taking the time to join us today. So as Will mentioned, my name's Nancy Lavery and we represent Tairox in all of North America. We do represent a few other offshore developers as well. So today we wanted to review the latest product from Tairox, which is their CRM product for Sage 300. So just a bit of background on Tairox. The developers at Tairox have been in the marketplace for a number of years. The president of Tairox was actually the original developer of ACPAC for DOS that we now fondly know as Sage 300. So a lot of experience there, and a lot of knowledge in terms of gaps that could be filled within Sage 300. So they've developed this CRM product. Now, the first thing I should mention, though, is this product is not intended to be a competitor or competing product for the Sage CRM, which is a full-blown product outside of Sage 300 that provides metadata customizations and .NET framework and JavaScript capabilities. This CRM product is really intended for the lower 2/3 or 3/4 of the Sage 300 install base that maybe don't need a full-blown contact relation management system, but a way for you to be able to track communications and opportunities from within Sage 300. So this is a 100% SDK module, meaning it will install within your Sage 300 environment. So any users that you currently have using Sage 300, you would not need any additional licenses for them. And if you did need to add users, the LAN packs for Sage 300, it's just the standard LAN packs. And those, of course, are concurrent and can be shared by any users that you need to add to the environment. So this product is currently available for version 2014 of Sage 300 and higher. So the whole concept of the Tairox CRM is for ease of use and to have a lot of information available to you with just one click. So we have punch-out capability to things like Google Maps. You could launch an Outlook email or browse out to a website. We're going to give you the ability to store social media links, and those are one click away. The thought process there being people will be much more diligent in keeping their social media up to date. So why would you have to keep track of their information if they're going to do it for you? And so we're giving you the ability to just click out and view multiple different social media links. There's going to be search capabilities for you, so it'll be more like a Google-like search engine where you can just put in characters and it's going to search on a number of different fields for you. And it is going to maintain the history. Now you can delete things and put them into the recycle bin, but there's a very easy way, pardon me, sorry. There's an easy way for you to retrieve that information from the recycle bin. So it's actually going to hold everything, but you shouldn't see any latency in terms of the processing. There are chart capabilities where you can view different charts. They are pure Excel. There's no add-ins, but you certainly can save those and share those amongst the users. The Tairox CRM is going to create a log, so you'll be able to see any changes. And we are compatible with the multi-currency as well as optional fields. If you are utilizing the Sage optional fields, you can add columns to the screen, and you can then select and sort by those columns. We'll give you the ability to view documents, so you'll be able to store documents within Tairox CRM and view those documents against multiple screens. And as far as communications go, you can export communications if you wanted to do mass mailings and that sort of thing. You can export out to MailChimp or SwiftPage to send out those mailings. A couple of the screens, the company screen, which will look very much like your AR customer screen in Sage 300, they formatted the screen to be the same as AR customers, so you can easily transfer data between the Tairox CRM and the AR customer screen. So the hierarchy within the Tairox CRM, you'll have your companies. These companies will be linked to your AR customers, or you can create new companies in Tairox CRM, and at some point in the future you would have the ability to promote those. In other words, set them up in the AR customers of Sage 300. But from the company screen, you will have drill down into some of your Sage 300 screens, your AR customers, as well as your AR customer inquiry. Now, when you're initially setting up the Tairox CRM, you can import your customers into Tairox CRM. So you can quite easily create these companies in Tairox CRM. And there's the ability to assign territories to the companies. Now, the only reason that you would really want to do that would be if you want to segregate your users. By using the territories, you can assign territories to your Sage CRM, your Tairox CRM users, and thereby limit the access that they have within Tairox CRM. And then the territories, as I mentioned, they're an optional configuration. You can assign territories to your companies and then assign those territories to your Tairox CRM users. And then each of your companies will have a contact page where you can store your contacts. Typically, a contact is only linked to one company, but you can group contacts together if you wanted to send out mailings that are specific to certain contacts. You have the ability to create what we call contact groups, and that gives you the ease of sending mass mailings out to those specific contacts within the group. You can launch the email or social media links from the contact page, and you can import the extended customers. Now that's a special screen that's available with the Tairox productivity tools where you can store multiple contacts within accounts receivable. So you could import those if you're using that screen from the Tairox productivity tools. And then, of course, you can create opportunities and you can link those to your company. You can link those to orders within the order entry module of Sage 300. And you can specify an unlimited number of stages. So based on your business and how you want to qualify those opportunities, you can set up stages for those opportunities and, of course, create some charts from that data. So the communications, you can associate those with one or more contacts or one or more documents, and you can specify different communication types, and those I'll show you when we go into the screens. And then, of course, you can export those communications to MailChimp or SwiftPage. And then you can store documents against the companies, against your contacts, and against your opportunities. And that would include not only actual documents, but you can store paths to a network folder or a website. And then hot off the press, I just got word of this last night. The latest build of Tairox CRM is now adding the ability for you to manage different cases, whether that be collection cases or support cases or any other type of cases. So you can manage those by a revisit date or by priority or by severity. And you can prioritize the cases as being low, normal, or high priority. And you'll be able to view these cases and opportunities on a dashboard that would be set out by dates, whether you choose to do that by day, by week, or by month. And then lastly, you can now attach notes to those cases or to your company's contacts or opportunities. So that's brand new. These features, unfortunately, I can't show you today because, as I mentioned, I just got word of them very late last night. So as Will mentioned, we may set up another webinar where we can show you these new features that have just been added to Tairox CRM. So we'll exit here out of the PowerPoint and let's go over to the software and we can show you the software. So
great. Everything
the Tairox
looks good,
CRM,
Nancy.
Okay, good. So the Tairox CRM will install within Sage 300, and we do respect the security of Sage 300. So under Administrative Services, you can actually set security around this module the same way you would any of the other Sage modules. So you can pick and choose what users have access to the Tairox CRM and what features within the module that they would have access. So perhaps you just want to give people inquiry and not necessarily the maintenance of the information you're storing in the Tairox CRM. So the hierarchy would start with your companies. So these companies could be your AR customers, and you have the drill down capability into accounts receivable. So you can view the customer screen in Sage 300. Now I'm running the Tairox productivity tools. So the integration is to the extended customer screen from the Tairox productivity tools. But if you are not running the productivity tools, then you would just see the standard Sage 300 AR customer screen. You also have a drill down into the customer inquiry screen. So you have all that information at your fingertips in terms of all the information related to an AR customer. So, you know, that would include orders or shipments, any information relating to the customer. That's the standard Sage 300 a customer inquiry screen. Under the advanced button is a way for you to filter the information you're seeing on this company screen. So for example, I could say I'm only interested in seeing certain customers that are from a certain area. So I can save those and it's going to filter the window for me. So we're giving you a number of ways to filter this information. I just did it by state or province, but you can see you have all kinds of options in terms of how you want to filter the information. So I'll just restore the defaults and we'll see the full list of users here. I mentioned the punch out to Google Maps, so any of the address information that you find within the Tairox CRM, you can punch out to Google Maps. And in the case of different contacts, you'd be able to launch an email, and we'll see that when we go over to the contact page. But I want to just go ahead and just quickly add a company so that you can see what that would look like. So I mentioned you can import from Sage Accounts Receivable, but you could also create a new company here within Tairox CRM. So we'll just call this ABC Company. And you could put in a short name, whatever that may be, then your street and so on. But I wanted to show the territories. So you can set up, so under the setup of Tairox CRM, you can define what these territories may be, or you could leave it as blank. Default territory would mean that you're not utilizing that feature within Tairox CRM. So it's completely optional as to whether or not you want to assign those territories. But when I add this and save it, I just want to show you that the promote button then opens up. And this is how you can go about promoting into Sage 300. So when you click the promote button, you can assign a customer number, a national account group and terms code, a tax group, and then you can create the new customer in Sage 300 quite easily. So if we go on then to the contacts, so when you click on a company on the main screen, the next 3 tabs will be associated with the company that you've highlighted. So if we'll highlight Mr. Ronald Black, and we can then go over to the contacts, and we can see the contacts that are associated with this particular company. And again, you have an advanced capability here where you can filter the information that you're seeing on the contact page to make it easier for you as this builds out. You may have multiple contacts here. So we can then open up the contact screen, and this is where you can see the details for that particular contact. And, you know, something like the email, you can launch an email straight from the contact screen. You can punch out to any social media, so you can pop out and see any social media links. And you actually can determine the social media links on the social media tab. So it would just be a matter of clicking the add button and you can see there's a number of different options in terms of the type of social media links that you can create. And then as soon as you create it on this page, the appropriate box will show up here on the front page. You can store documents against these contacts, and you can just add a new document, and you can go out and browse and find the document that you'd like to attach. Or under the documents section, you can have a list of documents, and you can just link those documents to a contact on this page. And then you can store communications. Again, you can add a new communication against a contact. You can name it and add in the type of communication. And these communications would be something that you would define. So if you have special types of communications, you could add those. And so you can store those communications against the contact. And then I mentioned earlier contact groups. This is where you can link users to a group so that you can send out communications to multiple people at the same time via the contact groups. And then if we go back to our company page, you can store the opportunities for a company. And again, you can add a new opportunity here at the company level. And you can open up the details for the opportunity, and this is where you can put a stage against it. So again, the opportunity stages would be something that you can define within the setup of Tairox CRM, and so you would set the stage, who that's assigned to, and then you also have a status of open, won, lost, or deferred. And you can store the dates here of when that opportunity opened, what the expected close is, or if you need to revisit it. So you can store the opportunities. In addition to that, against the opportunity, you can see any Sage 300 orders. So you can simply link an order to the opportunity here in the Tairox CRM. And you also would have drill down capability here. So you can drill into the details of that order in Sage 300. You know, the benefits of being inside the product gives us the ability to give you a lot of drill down features. And of course, once you're on the Sage 300 screen, any drill down capabilities on that screen would be available to you. And then again, you can store documents against the opportunity itself. So a lot of different areas that you can do the storing of the documents. You can store them against your contacts, you can store them against your opportunities, and of course you can store them against the company itself. And again, here you can use the ad to browse and find a document to attach, or you can link an existing document to the company. So that's the overall company page. Each of those tabs that we just went through, you can go straight into the information relating to those tabs. So you can go straight into an opportunity, you can go straight into a contact, or straight into the contact groups where you can review those contacts that have been linked. And you can export that. This is where you can do an export out to MailChimp or to Swift Page. So you can do that from the contact groups as well as from the communications. The communications screen is where you can store those communications. And from here, you'd be able to, you know, in this case, a newsletter, you can export that out to MailChimp and send it to the necessary users. So the charting capability, so we've given you a few charts out of the box. You can chart your sales pipeline, any open opportunities, as well as the time it took to close. And when you create this chart, it's being created as a pure Excel. So it's easy for you to copy, save, and share with other users. And, you know, you could share the size of the, expand the size of this and so on. So just a pure Excel chart, again, for ease of use. You can set up the user preferences. So this is the page size. So when I open up the company or when I open up the opportunities or contacts, you can specify how many records, lines of record that you would like to see within that screen. And then under the setup of the Tairox CRM is where you can, the overall options can be set as a default page size. You can also set it based on each user. So each user could specify how many lines of detail they want to see when they open up a screen. But you can also specify your opportunity stages. So under the setup is where you can come and add a new stage. You can also specify your communication types. So you can maintain and add those here under the communication type setup. You can also set up your territories here, and then your users, you can assign the territories to the user. So if they have no territories or they have all territories assigned to them, that would give them access to everything within Tairox CRM. Or you can specify the territories that they have access to, in which case, you know, I've specified it here for Arkansas and California. That means that this user would only be able to see those companies within this code. So that's a way for you to limit the user's capability. I mentioned it does have, it integrates with the optional fields. And if you're utilizing optional fields, then you'll be able to see those fields as a column and you would be able to sort by those. The import customers is a way for you to import those things from accounts receivable, and you can filter this information, so you can select the customers by whatever information is important to you, by national account, group code. You have all different information here that you can use to generate the list of customers that you would like to import. And you can specify, you know, don't include inactive customers, or you can add the territory. So this is if it's got a territory in Sage 300 AR, you can say add that same territory to the Tairox CRM. So you can import those customers. You can import the contacts. Now this is specific to the Tairox productivity tools. If you're using the extended AR customers in the Tairox productivity tools, that tool gives you the ability to store unlimited contacts. So using this import contacts would give you the ability to import all of those contacts into the Tairox CRM. Now, the sync companies, if you make a change to a company, which is equal to an AR customer, if you make that change in the Tairox CRM, you know, maybe you're updating an address or something like that, if you make the change in the Tairox CRM, it's going to automatically update the accounts receivable record. But if you make the change in AR, then you're going to have to sync the companies to be able to see that information in Tairox CRM. So when you open up the sync companies and you can run a check, it's going to identify for you every record that has a difference where you know, there's a field value that's different between Tairox CRM and accounts receivable. And I can see this by customer ID. And then when you open up that particular record, it's going to show you what the difference is. So in this case, the field is the street 1. There's a variance in it. And I can see that within Tairox CRM, the record says Bargain Mart Plaza. And in accounts receivable, it's telling me that it says Bargain Mart Drive. So you can then update the records, and that will sync the records for you if that's something that you want to do. So once again, if you make a change in the Tairox CRM, it's going to automatically update accounts receivable. But if you make a change in accounts receivable, this sync companies is going to identify for you where there's a variance in the data, and you can choose whether or not you want to update CRM with that information. So that's the overview of the Tairox CRM. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any. And if not, you certainly can contact the folks at DNA. And if they need to get a hold of me, they know how to. We certainly would like to thank you for taking the time today. We appreciate it. And I'll hand it back to Will.
All right. Thank you, Nancy. That was excellent. I hope people can see the benefits of a powerful but relatively uncomplex solution that fits right inside what they're normally used to dealing with Sage 300. So that's why we're very excited about it. I do have a couple of questions to ask you, Nancy. That
Sure.
came in through the chat, and anybody else who has questions, please feel free to add them. The first question was, what's the typical setup time or process for Tairox CRM? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, if you're importing your contacts from Sage 300s, then, you would just be setting up your opportunity stages, your types, and territory. So I would say that you could be up and running within a couple of hours.
Right, because you just install the module like you would any other Sage,
Yes.
install the software and then activate the module. But then the
Yes.
actual bringing the data in and setting up the features, it's certainly less than a day.
Yes.
And then some training that we provide to walk them through the process, although it's fairly self-explanatory, so that's great. Next question was, can you go over briefly the differences between this and the full Sage CRM? Maybe a few of the key
Yes.
points.
Yes. So we do have a document that I will provide to Will that will outline all of the differences for you. But as far as the Tairox CRM, we can track everything within Sage 300. We're just using the native Excel for the charts, so it's nothing too fancy there. It will hold deleted entries, and you can easily recover those. And it has the search capabilities like a search engine would. So those would be things that are not part of the Sage CRM. Now, things within Tairox CRM that are not in your Sage CRM, things that are not in Tairox CRM that are available in Sage CRM would be a deep Outlook integration, metadata customizations, JavaScript, marketing and campaign workflows. And although we've just added a dashboard, it's probably a more comprehensive dashboard in the Sage CRM product. And then we'll send you this document that outlines more, but certainly the Tairox CRM is a much smaller product and would be for those companies that really just want to be able to track opportunities and communications without having a full-blown CRM product like the Sage CRM is.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll make sure we add that into the follow-up message with the link to that document, as well as the video recording of this event. So that's great. I mean, anybody who's interested, just give us a call. I'm happy to talk to you about it. We'll kind of map out where you're at today and what do you see in the short term and the long term, because maybe it's a stepping stone, or maybe this is enough for a large percent of the people that have Sage 300 and are tracking this kind of information in separate databases or on spreadsheets. This is a great opportunity to start capturing more information. And I think one of the other questions was about the collection feature you mentioned. I know we can't show it today, but maybe you just want to talk a little bit about what that is and what it'll do for those clients. If you have a couple of lines about that, or you can just speak about it for a minute.
I honestly haven't had a chance to look at it,
Okay.
Will. I just added those bullet points to PowerPoint, but it will be an extra screen, so there'll be an extra icon that'll have collections,
Right.
where you can I believe you can run a process within Sage 300 that's going to show you those people that are potentially becoming a collection issue.
Yeah, so
So you can
outstanding.
run an aging. Yeah,
Right.
you can run an
Right.
aging to
And
see
probably
those.
communicate with them or track your communications with them to try and pull those collections in sooner and kind of
Correct.
help you with your quote to cash, if you want to call it,
Yes.
right inside the product. Where today you can, do statements and run have a list of who's outstanding or a report, but you're not really tracking it in so much in Sage 300 of what's been done. So if you want to get people to do it, so I think it's a great add-on capability to it'll probably help a lot of people who are, now juggling many different silos of data to manage their collections, for example. So I think it's a great feature, and as you mentioned, I think we'll probably do a follow-up, whether we just record it and send it out or do another webinar just to follow up those new features. But it's hot off the presses, as Nancy said. And
Yes.
I think you answered these last two earlier. You just need to you install the module, and then it's just standard Sage 300 user setup and available land packs to be able to log in and work with it.
Yes.
It's not browser based. That's one of the differences between it and Sage 300. You're not accessing it from a web page per se. It's in, like you're showing here, the standard Sage 300 interface and login. It works in the same fashion, so very easy for people to get used to.
Yes.
Okay. And you answered the last one about importing companies and the synchronization. So basically, you can bring in all your AP vendor contacts and your AR customer contacts, and then if you have others and you want to bring them in, that's not a problem, like that aren't yet customers or vendors, right?
Yes. Yes.
And
So under
then
the companies, you can just add a new record like we did with our ABD company.
right,
And you can see it's not linked to an AR customer. And then if at a future date you want to create the AR customer, you would just promote that and that'll set it up in
yeah.
accounts receivable for you.
So a great way to start tracking information on people who you would like to be your customer or potentially your vendor before you actually
Right.
commit to that. So I think that's a great feature too. So, all right,
Yes.
let me just check and make sure no new questions. No, I think that was all of them. So I want to thank you, Nancy, for taking the time to kind of quickly walk us through Tairox CRM. I think, as I mentioned, it's a great option for any of our current Sage 300 clients that are looking to add this kind of capability um, to their system without having to have a completely new product added. It's very quick. We can get it up and running and do some training on it and bring in all your contacts out of Sage 300 quickly. And then you can start managing things like collections fairly soon. Things like leads and opportunities, and just tracking more info, storing documents against the people you have in your Sage 300, which is, people are asking to go more paperless all the time. So please, I've got my information up there. I think you can see it, can you, Nancy?
Yes.
Flip me an email, give us a call at the office. I'm happy to chat with you about it. If you want to have a one-on-one demonstration, we can always set that up. But I hope this was informative to everybody, and don't hesitate to reach out, and we will be sending an email shortly with the video of this. So thank you, and everybody have a great